But this seems to really get to him to release the list. Because he did have 1,000 FBI agents combing over that list, redacting his name wherever they found it. And there are like lots of videos of him in a conga line with Jeffrey Epstein. So at this point, if he's not implicated in having sex with a minor, this is much weirder. So whatever it is, put it out. The people in the country can handle it. The people in the country can handle it. The FBI redacted Trump's name in the Epstein files. The Bureau's team tasked with conducting a final review of the records blacked out the names before higher-ups said last month that releasing the documents would not be appropriate or warranted. So you have all these wealthy people, well-connected people implicated in the horrific abuse of children. Now, did all of them do it? That's the argument. Maybe they're just named and they didn't do it. Maybe. Okay. But from the documents, there should be some way to ascertain that, I'm sure. Thousands of documents over many years. It's a big investigation. The FBI has all the information. So their whole thing is like, well, we can't release them because like somebody could be named in it, but they're like innocent. They didn't do anything. Well, if that's the case, it was an investigation. So there would be some way to ascertain who was like really involved and who wasn't. Most likely, it's not just going to be a complete clusterfuck. So I think it's just a lot of people who were involved who also, don't want their name. The idea that Trump is doing this to protect other people is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, did he suddenly overnight become like a conscientious guy who cares about his fellow people? His fellow billionaires, he's upset and cares about them. No, if he didn't feel like this implicated him, it would have been out months ago, most likely. If he wasn't nailed somehow in this is out months ago. He's not like, he doesn't care about any of his friends that much, I would imagine. So this whole argument that like, well, we can't release this stuff because it's going to implicate people that are named, but they really didn't do it or whatever. Put it out. See what's there. But we all know it. That's not the real reason they won't put it out. And that's only part of the reason that they're giving, that they won't put it out. Right now they're trying things to see if it'll work. They're seeing, it's like a comedian at an open mic where you see if a premise will stick. You're like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? They're trying theories. They're going like, hey, what about if the porn isn't, it's just pornography from the internet? How about that? And that was told to me directly. Or then they go like this. They go, hey, what about if it's just a bunch of good billionaires that might get ensnared in this or caught up in it, but they actually didn't do anything wrong? How about that? And then the public goes, I don't think that's it. And they're like, well, how about this? How about that Ghislaine's like a liar and she's just going to start lying? And you go, yeah, maybe, but also just put out what you got. So they're just trying to see what will work. And nothing's working, so that's why they're transferring Ghislaine now. Get this up. They just put her in a minimum security prison because they're going to, I don't know, but it seems like they're going to try to kill her. Ghislaine Maxwell was quietly moved. Quietly. Where we going, darling? Where we going, darling? In the middle of the night. Quietly moved from a Florida prison to a more comfortable one in Texas this week as she campaigns for a pardon from President Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein's associate was serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking in a low-security Tallahassee prison, but was moved to Texas on Thursday to the minimum security federal prison Camp Bryan in Southeast Texas. Minimum security. It's kind of a have at her. Have at her, boys, gals. So they're right now, the Mossad is trying to find a butch lesbian to go get her. That's what's going on right now. A butch lesbian is sitting in that jail, and the Mossad is about to find a real butch, dykey lesbian to go crack Ghislaine Maxwell in the head. She's going to go crack her in the face, Maxwell's new home holds mostly white-collar criminals, and unlike the Tallahassee facility, is only for female criminals. She will now be able to purchase beauty and leisure items from the commissary, including makeup and crochet and sewing kits, which, by the way, one of those women is going to use one of those kits to cut her throat. That's obvious. They got to kill this bitch now. She's got to go now. This is like go time. The Mossad is like, she's going to the new prison where she can buy makeup tonight. She's going to get a makeover tonight, and a big butch lesbian's going to cut her throat. They're going to cut her throat. I'm telling you, that's the plan. There is a plan. When Miriam Adelson gave Trump all that money after January 6th, and she was the only one fucking with him, and she was like, I'll give you this. Is before all those tech people decided how much they loved populism and Donald Trump and borders and tariffs. But Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million. And she was out there early saying, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to help make you the president of the United States. Miriam Adelson had a few requests. You don't just get $100 million. That's not the way $100 million works. Nobody just gives you $100 million without having an opinion. I've been given far less money during creative projects, and people have an opinion. When I do something with a Netflix or whatever, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to listen to it, but they always give it. Because the minute someone opens their pocketbook, they feel that they're entitled to give an opinion. Now, thankfully, on the comedy specials, Netflix doesn't give a ton of opinion unless I'm like slandering, I don't know, some public person. It's a legal issue. But usually, if you're in development, and I've been in development with a bunch of shows that have never made the air, the minute somebody gives you money for a script or to make a pilot or whatever, they say, and by the way, here are notes. They have notes. They have notes. They have things they think you should do. Yes, we like the project, but here's, if we could see it in a different light, we just want to steer it this way. We want to help. We want it to be as successful as possible. And here's how we think you should do it. You get notes. When Miriam Adelson gives you $100 million, you get notes. You get notes. Here's one of the main notes. Israel is going to call the shots. That's note number one. That's note number one. And that's her only note. So that's actually, she comes in and she goes, I don't have a lot of notes. This is actually going to be a relatively easy process. I have one note. It's not a big note. It's just one note, and we can get this out of the way. And once we get it out of the way, it's not actually a big deal. We don't even have to talk about it again. My one note is that Israel's just going to run this thing. Okay? I'm going to give you $100 mil. I'm going to give you $100 mil. It's my one note. It's my one. This is the version of like Netflix going, we don't love the main character. Like I'm in an animated thing with them right now, and they go, we don't love the main character. We don't get the main character. People are not connecting with the main character. So that's their version of that. Miriam Adelson's version of that is like, hey, one note, again, not a huge deal. It is a deal breaker, of course, and I don't think you should be upset about it at all, but Israel's just going to run the thing. We just have to do whatever the hell we want to do in Gaza. We're probably going to have to bomb Iran, and you're probably not going to, you can't release these Epstein docs because it's going to be maybe a little egg on our face, egg on your face, Donnie, egg on everybody's face. So that's our note. That's our note. And then the other billionaires come in with their notes and, and they have all kinds of notes. But I think that's her big note. I don't think she's especially passionate about the infrastructure in America. I don't think like people like Miriam Adelson are really like, hey, you know what concerns me? The state of our bridges. I don't like every time I drive over one, I go, is this thing going to go? That's not what concerns her. A major funder of a pro-Israel politics and a prolific donor to Jewish causes, Adelson, 79, is carrying on a legacy she built with her late husband, casino magnate Sheldon Adelson. And she comes in and she's like, listen, I'm here. I'm giving you the money. And the money, because now let's just realize what the Trump administration has been. For the first 8 months, the Trump administration has basically been an auction. It's an auction. And everybody is submitting a bid on our country. Qatar, Israel, the American people are like far in the back going, hey, we up, hey. But Israel, Qatar, China, everybody is trying to position themselves to basically get as much as they can from the Trump administration. How much can we get? How much equity is in this guy before we throw him away? Before he doesn't matter anymore?